Welcome to the Charmed Web Show. I'm your host, Tricia Carr. I'm a medium, animal communicator, empath, and energy healer. On this show, we discuss spirituality, magic, and the unconditional love of the universe. We welcome listener calls to answer spiritual questions and to offer live readings. Thanks for tuning in. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on my second episode of Charmed Life Radio, or the Charmed Radio podcast. So what does charmed mean to me? Well, charm is, I think the dictionary definition is something that feels magical. And so that's what life feels like to me. And I actually took on the theme of charm when, it was about a year ago or something. And I was in meditation and just exploring, the other realms with my guides. And one of my guides took me across this beautiful iridescent lake, and on the other side handed me a four-leaf clover, which actually went and rested right on my shoulder, like in my energy body. And then I was told that I am charmed. And what I mean by that, it's not that I'm special. We're all charmed. And so that's what I'm here with this radio broadcast and with the other types of media that I'm sharing with everyone. I'm here because I love you all, and because I want to share in this the unification process with you. I'll give you a little hint, or a little insider tip about people that are healers. We're doing this because we're selfish. Because really, when you're doing anything that is healing, and everyone can relate to this because we're all healers, we're all magical, we're all working together to help one another find more love in this life, and to feel the truth, the spiritual truth, that we are all completely connected and inseparable from divine. And that is that anytime I help someone or heal someone else, whatever, I'm in the process of being someone's healer or someone's counselor, confidant, I receive the healing at least as much as they do. So that's why it's selfish, because it's a co-healing process. It's a co-creative process. And so everyone that is joining me here, I honor you and I thank you. I'm so grateful, and I can feel your love right now, and I'm so blessed and so grateful for you for being here with me. So we have several callers already, and I'm so thrilled to connect with you all. By the way, I should preface this by saying that if you hear some noises in the background, that is because I have 3 adorable kitties, Barnabas, Franzi, and Delilah. And they love to be in here, especially when I'm working. Or the problem with that is, you see if you're watching this on the webcast, the walls that are behind me, those are actually those aren't stationary. They're set up for sound diffusion, and they jump right on top of them and knock them over, as well as the cameras and the microphones. So sadly, I don't want to lock them in another room. Because that makes them even, more uncomfortable. So if you hear some yowling and some jumping on the doorknob, don't worry, they're fine. They have a wonderful life. Anyway, so let's see. What I'm here to talk about today, before we get to calls, is an amazing edification that I received fairly recently. Sort of when I receive some sort of enlightenment, it comes in through many, many sources. But there was one particular online video that I saw, or woman who posts online. She's a doctor who calls herself the intuition physician. Did I say that right? Yeah. I've caught a couple of her videos she has on YouTube. And her name is Laura Conover, I believe, with a K. Look up intuition physician. But she talks about how she was explaining the chakras. I found her one day because I was I was sick. And I wanted to find out a little bit more about the chakra that was in the area of where my illness was centered. And just from there, I learned from her, and this again was a coalescence of a lot of other messages, whether it's directly from meditation and prayer or from other teaching sources of books and videos and podcasts, that when we have a physical ailment or injury of any kind, that it is actually it's something that our soul has been trying to bring to our awareness about how to emotionally heal in some way. Now, heal, I'd love to touch upon that word. Every single one of us is in need of healing, and that is the journey of this life. And so when I use the word heal, I don't mean like, I'm really, really physically sick, or I'm even mentally or sick, or something that's really obvious. Every one of us is healing. Healing really means to become whole. So we enter this plane, and the human experience is to forget that we are actually inseparable from divine, that everything, that there is only one, that all is one. We forget that, and we hide inside the identity of an individual so we can take the journey of remembering and rediscovering that oneness. And so that's what the process of healing is. It's being made whole again. It's restoring your perspective back to the spiritual truth that there is no separation. So basically, when you have any kind of physical minor symptom, major symptom, or even an injury, that is really, you can analyze that almost like a symbol or a dream to look back into the emotional issue that your soul, like I say, your soul is trying to show you that needs healing. And the good news is that if you can get that message and work on that emotional healing, that the physical symptom that you're experiencing is actually the end of a cycle, because everything happens energetically before it happens physically. If you think about the information inside the seed of a plant that eventually becomes a flower, just the information, that's non-physical, that's just energy. And eventually it's going to become a beautiful flower. So basically, some people say, everything that is physical is old news energetically. So just to illuminate that, I'll share a little bit of personal story. The reason that this topic was the one that I selected today is because I have been going through some different kinds of physical issues and challenges. I actually just had surgery 6 days ago. It was, I'm happy to share, it's in my reproductive area. It was laparoscopic, which is not as invasive as something like lower abdominal surgery, where they, really do major incisions. And it is to remove endometriosis. I know for some people, topics like talking about your reproductive system is uncomfortable. I don't mind. I have a reproductive system. We all have reproductive systems. So I don't mind sharing, and I hope that you all don't mind that I am sharing. But it's important for me to tell you exactly what that illness is to illuminate this personal story, the example. So in that area of the body, so in the reproductive area, is seated, it's aligned with your sacral chakra. And so that's one way that we can actually analyze it, is by looking at the chakra or chakras that it is near, and then just knowing what those chakras are the center for. And another way is just by the symbol of what that body part might mean. So let's say if I injured my right hand, hand is about doing work, grasping, all the different things that your hand means in a symbolic way. And then the right side of your body is the side of your body that gives out to the world. So I actually have a friend, if she's watching, I hope you don't mind me sharing your story, but I'm not going to tell your identity. She did injure her right arm doing it at work, and she's a bit frustrated at work. And so, we just looked at it, and what happened to her, she actually smashed her arm really hard. And, it just made sense to her when we talked about it that she is so uncomfortable and misaligned with what she is giving to the world. The right hand is about giving and about the kind of work that you're giving to the world, that she wanted to cut it off even, she didn't actually, but you know what I mean? Like, she smashed it, and that made so much sense to her. So for me, in the sacral chakra is the seat of emotions and the emotional control center. And I am an empath. And an empath is someone who feels other people's emotions as though they are their own. And I didn't know this about myself. I didn't know I was functioning like an empath in the world. I didn't really know that word beyond, sci-fi and stuff. There's a kitty crying right now. Oh, that's Franzi. Oh, do you hear him? Franzi's a famous kitty, by the way. Franzi is a kitty. If you've seen the video Best Kitty Hug Ever, that's my Franzi and my husband giving him the hug. Anyway, sacral chakra. Empath. So I didn't realize that I was an empath for most of my life. And then when I did, boy, a lot of emotional and healing started to happen. Understanding how to have boundaries, actually having to squeeze out this sponge that I had, in my emotional body, because I had been absorbing all kinds of emotions of other people that I didn't even know. I didn't know that I was absorbing other people's emotions, So it makes sense that energetically that eventually would turn into some kind of manifestation in my physical body, and it happens to be seated right there in that area. So thank God I did learn about how to go to a doctor and, use a physician as a healer as well, because all tools, all methods, all teachers are valid. And we're all here just to learn that from one another. So I'm feeling so much better, even though my surgery was less than a week ago. It's been a harrowing week, but I feel amazing. And I really wanted to do this broadcast today, even though it's just 6 days out from surgery, because I could really feel that this co-healing process was going to push me into a greater depths of healing. So let's see. And the next thing I wanted to talk about, so I was saying that your soul is always sending you messages about how to heal. And that's not only with your physical ailments, it's also with everything that is in your awareness. You can really just look at it and ask yourself, what does that mean symbolically, and do I respond to that emotionally? What can that mean to me emotionally? I actually did have a video about that one, so I won't spend too much time on that. But again, the great thing to know is that once it is physically manifested, it is the end of a cycle. Now, if you don't do the healing in the emotional, or at least begin the healing, then it could become chronic. All right. Oh, I think my iPad just stopped. So we're no longer Facebook Live. That's fine. We are doing Blog Talk Radio. One other thing that along the lines of what physical injuries, ailments could mean is actually, if you are an animal lover like I am, you can hear my kitties lamenting away. Oh, wow, that's drama right there. Then one thing that is interesting, and I don't want anyone to feel guilty about this because guilt is largely a useless emotion, but a lot of times your animals that are in your life, that people, your animal companions, if they're manifesting physical symptoms of some kind, that can be symbolic of something that's going on with you. So I'll just leave you with that one. I think we could do a whole show on that another time. And I'm going to go ahead and look at the switchboard and try to get to some calls here. Let's see. Oh boy, got a lot of calls. Excuse me 1 second. I have a sip of water. And I'm going to, there was someone I was looking out to receive her call. And let me see if I can find, beg your pardon while I look up the phone number. So when y'all call in on the switchboard, all I see is the phone number. Actually, before I take a call, let me just explain how I work, right? How about that? So I am a medium. So I receive messages from either of the realms. So, whether it's your past loved one, angels, also like elemental beings like fairies, dragons, different kinds of gnomes. We all have these guides that are from the fourth, fifth, and beyond dimensions. And I also am an empath, so I feel into the situation. I connect with you emotionally. And I'm an animal communicator. So if you have an animal question, I will try to answer that as well, or connect with your animal. So with animal communication, I actually connect directly to the animal. And sometimes, I think that when I do that, your guides and angels contribute as well. But my intention is to connect directly to the animal. So when I do that, I'm getting information from the animal. So from a higher source, if you consider your animal a higher source, then sure. But basically, when I'm talking to an animal, and if they say, oh yeah, I'm a cat, I just want to eat tuna all day long. Know that that's just your cat's opinion, and that you have to choose the diet that is correct for them because you're their physical guardian. So just a little summary about how animal communication works. But And then the other thing is I just love having discussions and answering questions. So if you want to call in ask for a reading of some kind, or if you just want to ask a spiritual question, like what happens when we die, is there such thing as unicorns, anything like that, I would love to engage in those conversations too. And what's beautiful about that is that you might ask me a question that I've never even considered before. And so then we'll use a little bit of mediumship to bring forward that information as well. And as a channel, I've heard someone say that you can expect about, for a really, really good channel, a medium or whatever, about 80% accuracy. And heck, that would be wonderful, because I don't know if I'm 80% accurate in listening to actual physical conversations. But basically, I'm tapping into energy and translating it. I'm just a lens, and if it's spirit guides or angels, they use what's inside my mind and my experience to be able to help to bring that message across. And then it's to me to just try to relax and communicate that with you. So when I take your call, I'm going to ask you what kind of whether you want to do a reading, or if you want to do if you just have a question, we can chat a bit. And then we'll do it. If you haven't had a reading before, what's best is if you let me try to tap in, and then I will ask you, don't give me too much information. I'll just ask you questions like, I see this, does that make sense? And if it doesn't make sense, that's fine, because maybe it's a symbol I need more clarification. And then also sometimes if it doesn't make sense right now, it just makes sense later. So, and then when we get going, then, we might have a little more dialogue. But at the beginning, try not to give me too much information. Does that make sense? You can't answer me. You're on the radio. Or I'm on the radio. All right. Let me find that caller. I think this is my caller. I'm going to now take the call from 313, that's the area code, and then it ends in 45. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Who is this?
Hi, Tricia. It's Melissa Perry. How are you?
Good. Hi, Melissa Perry. I'm so glad that I picked the right number. I wasn't positive I was picking the right one. So nice to connect with you. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's so interesting that you talked about the arm thing. I'm not going to say anything more about that, but it's...
Well, that was a message for you then. I hadn't really planned to talk about that. So that was obviously, must have been one of your guides whispering in my ear, because we're already connecting. We've been connecting on Facebook. So Melissa reached out to me through one of the groups that I'm in, or we crossed paths that way. And Melissa, you want me to connect with your cat, yes? Is that right?
No, I don't have a cat.
I'm so sorry. I must have you mixed up with someone else. Melissa wants a reading about something else. Melissa wants a reading, right?
Yeah, I want a reading.
All right, great. So, let's see. So I'm just going to see you. The only thing I want to ask you is if you are hoping to connect with a particular loved one that has passed on, or if you're just looking for some advice, basically from the other side, as it were.
Yeah, just some advice.
Okay, perfect. And let me just do my little... All right, so is this love life advice? Love life is what I meant to say.
No, it's more career.
Okay. So career, let's see.
And spiritual.
Gotcha, okay. So so when you just said career, so I did just see a bit of like furrowed brow, like some frustration. I feel like it feels like there's a bit of, to me, I don't know if this is symbolic. So sometimes something's symbolic, sometimes it's literal. So, but it seems like it's symbolic to me, like there's pressure from behind, like you're feeling, I guess, maybe a little bit oppressed, but also like kind of moving forward in a way that you're just resistant to, that you're not comfortable with. Is that making sense? That feeling makes sense to you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like, feels like it's a little bit distant, but you can look and it's like you're looking over to your right and then you see something golden light and beautiful. And so that's the spiritual, like you want to have a more spiritual minded career. Yeah. That's how these two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So then where you are right now. Okay. I'm just going to tell you what I'm feeling. So where you are right now, the job that even though it's feeling oppressive from behind, it's actually helping you. You're learning something there still. You're feeling very, very grounded in that job, even though, so if you can focus on the gratitude of how grounding it is, literally like your feet, I feel, are planted in the ground, and that's not a bad thing at all. That's a good thing. So let's see. Okay. So I do see you, yeah, and so again, this is symbolic. I'm pretty sure that you're reaching out with that right arm toward that spiritual healing, some kind of spiritual career, spiritually minded career. Is it in the bodywork arena? Like, I don't know if it's yoga or some kind of bodywork healing?
I'm actually a massage therapist, and I've been trying to decide if I want to leave.
If you
want
to leave
else.
Massage therapy. Okay, so that's the body work.
It, like maybe still work with people, just maybe not in the way that I have been before, because it hasn't been very fulfilling.
Yeah, okay, so that kind of rote thing with the client, you've been doing it for a while now, years? You've been doing it for, 3 to 5 years? Is that about right?
Yeah, a little bit. I actually graduated. I don't know if you want to know when I graduated, but
doesn't really
graduated.
Matter.
Yeah, in like 99, but I didn't do it that entire time. So,
so okay, so it's interesting. So that's why it's ground. Okay, so the massage therapy is grounding you because it's actually giving you it has been, and you're still not quite done with that lesson, but it's giving you a lot of structure. But I can feel what you're uncomfortable with, and I'm feeling this from you, is just that rote. I mean, it's just feeling rote. It's just feeling like I go in, I do this, I go in, I do this, clients, And so here's the deal.
That's exactly how I react. Like, people have been calling me, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah. So what will be good to free you from that? So the thing is, you're in resistance. So whatever, whatever we resist, we persists. So I'm going to give you, I'm just being shown some advice that I was given a long time ago when I actually was ready to change as well. So know that where you are is exactly where you are meant to be. At the same time, there's nothing wrong with being ready for a change, for being ready to graduate from where you are. That's an uncomfortable place for us to be because it's basically pre-transition, or it's transition area. And humans, we hate that. We hate transition, we hate change, we hate all of it.
Yeah.
So you're being challenged to intensify your presence. So you're going to go tomorrow. You're going to go to work tomorrow, and just the best thing for you to do is to face each moment with as deep a presence as you possibly can, and you go in with that client and you say, we are going to heal one another, and just try to be joyful about that, because we only have each moment. So and the reason I'm telling you that is because that's actually going to hasten the transition. The more you're present, the more you accept the now, and the now includes being ready to move on, which is so weird, and it's so hard to be in that space without feeling resistance about it. But that is actually the challenge. So now,
well,
I mean,
and the interest, I'm kind of, I guess I'm not giving you any of the story really. I'm actually also a stay-at-home mom right now, and that was my massage practice was so part-time, and I was going to be so busy over the summer that I just put basically a sign up on my website that I'm taking a sabbatical. And even though I've been getting phone calls and people have been inquiring, I'm like, no, I'm not working. They're like, oh, that's nice for you. I'm like, yeah, actually it is. Taking a break and focusing on my daughter, because I have a 2-year-old. So, and I've actually really been embracing the whole like housewife thing, but I've been really like leaning towards something else too. I don't know if you want me to tell you what that is.
Okay, so let's see. Well, first there is you have a really strong female guide who really wants you to connect with her more. And I don't know what your spiritual practice is like. If you do you know about connecting with your guides? Is that something you're interested in?
I want to learn. Yeah,
you want to learn about that?
I need to learn.
You have a really strong female. I'm not feeling that she's your master guide, but she's a very, she's one of your big principal guides. And it's kind of like it feels almost like, to say, like she's your workhorse. Like she's just there all the time, bringing you, she wants to work with you more consciously on your part.
To hear this full episode, subscribe to the Charmed Radio podcast on iTunes. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.